Imagine a world where every object we touch, every gift we receive, carries with it an invisible energy capable of affecting our lives in ways we barely understand. This is the story of wise monk Kato, keeper of ancient secrets, who teaches us how to discern the energies hidden in everyday objects and protect our spiritual serenity. Through 7 surprisingly common objects, Kato reveals how they can become portals to unwanted energies, changing the course of our existence. Prepare to discover how ancestral wisdom can guide us to live a life in harmony by learning to choose carefully what we allow into our personal and spiritual space. A journey that will transform not only our perception of the objects around us, but also our connection to the universe itself. If you like this video and want to support this channel, I invite you to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this beautiful story with your friends. And now to our story. The elderly and wise monk Kato, keeper of ancient secrets and profound spiritual truths, was respected by all for his deep understanding of life and the energy that permeates it. One day, as his disciples gathered around him in the monastery cloister, Kaito began to speak about the importance of discerning the energies surrounding the objects in our lives. "Have you ever reflected on the energy that surrounds what we possess?" asked the wise monk, peering into the faces of his disciples with curiosity and anticipation. "You should know that every object we accept from others carries with it not only a material history, but also an energetic history, a reflection of the experiences and emotions of those who have touched it." The disciples listened attentively, eager to learn their master's teachings and understand how to preserve their own serenity. "There are 7 objects that we should absolutely avoid accepting from other people," Kato continued, "as they can deeply affect our spiritual energy and well-being." The first object Kato spoke of were mirrors, which symbolically can be considered subtle portals to the deep world of our soul. "These objects," the monk said with a tone of reverence, "are not simply reflections of our physical image, but also mirrors of our inner being. They can reflect our joys, our fears, and our deepest desires. There is an aspect both curious and disturbing about them. Mirrors can also hold the energies of the people who looked at them, thus becoming sources of both positive and negative energy." To illustrate the concept, Kaito told the story of a young monk who, upon accepting a mirror used by an old hermit, began to experience strange visions and nightmares. That energy stored in the old mirror, Kaito said, had carried with it the hermit's memories and emotions, influencing the young monk more than he had ever imagined. The second item Kaito mentioned was salt, that simple condiment often taken for granted. "Salt," he explained calmly, "has the power to absorb and hold the energies of people who touch it. When we accept salt directly from another person's hands, we may unwittingly take in their energies as well, which may be positive or negative." He then recalled the story of a young cook who, upon accepting salt from a traveler, began to experience strange feelings and discontent while cooking. That energy held in the salt, Kaito said, had affected the cook's mood and well-being, clouding the goodness of the food he prepared. The third object Kaito spoke of were the used mattresses, guardians of sleep and rest. "Mattresses," he said solemnly, "are not only places where we rest our bodies, but also reservoirs of energy accumulated over time. Accepting a mattress used by other people could mean welcoming their energies as well, which could profoundly affect the quality of our sleep and our inner peace." He then told the story of a monk who, upon accepting an old mattress from a traveler, began to experience insomnia and disturbing dreams. That energy held in the mattress, Kaito said, had brought with it the traveler's worries and anxieties, disturbing the monk's sleep and tranquility. The fourth object Kaito mentioned were the wallets that had belonged to someone else, reservoirs of our material possessions. "Wallets," Kaito said with a sigh, "are not just containers of money. They are also reservoirs of the financial and emotional energies of the people who touched them. So, Accepting a used wallet from another person could mean accepting his or her energies as well, and these could negatively affect our financial situation and emotional state. He then recalled the story of a merchant who, upon accepting an old wallet from a friend, began to experience a series of financial misfortunes and constant anxieties. That energy held in the wallet, Kaito said, had carried with it the worries and difficulties of its previous owner, thus affecting the merchant's prosperity and serenity. The old pots and pans, kitchen tools that guard the secrets of our meals, were the other items the monk spoke of. The pots and pans, Shuzo said with a smile, are not just tools for cooking. They are also keepers of the culinary and emotional energies of the people who use them. Accepting pots or pans used by other people could mean welcoming their energies as well, which could affect the taste and quality of the food we prepare. He told the story of a woman known and appreciated by all as an excellent cook, who one day accepted an old pan from a relative, and from that day began to experience a sudden decline that led her not to cook as well as she used to. That energy retained in the frying pan, Kaito said, had carried with it the memories and emotions of its previous owner, thus affecting the flavor and goodness of her dishes. Other objects that, according to Kaito, we should never accept from others are used religious or spiritual objects, those amulets and talismans that we often carry with us for protection. These religious or spiritual objects, Elder Monk said with a serious expression, are not only symbols of faith, but also keepers of the spiritual energies of the people who touch them. Accepting religious or spiritual objects used by other people could mean also accepting their energies, which could affect our spiritual practice and our relationship with the divine. To make the concept clearer, Kaito told the story of a devotee who, upon accepting an old talisman from a friend, began to experience a series of very intense spiritual sensations. That energy held in the talisman, Kaito said, had carried with it the experiences and emotions of its previous possessor, thus strengthening the devotee's spiritual bond and protection. As the disciples became increasingly fascinated by their mentor's words and reflected on that they had accepted objects from someone, the monk continued his lecture by talking about jewelry and objects with sentimental value. Jewelry and objects in general that have sentimental value, Kaito said in a nostalgic tone, hold the most precious memories of our lives. They are not only ornaments, but also keepers of the energies of the people who wore them. Accepting them could mean accepting their energies as well, which could influence our feelings and memories associated with those objects. Many people, the monk added, when bequeathed the jewelry of a mother or other ancestor, begin to experience a range of emotions and memories very much related to their childhood. That energy held in the jewelry, Kaito said, carries with it the love and affection of the loved one who is gone, thus evoking the sweetest moments of her life. As the sun set, Kato, with a compassionate look toward his disciples, stressed the importance of being aware of the energies we take in our lives, whether they are related to objects received or purchased. Every object, he said, carries a story and energy that affect our well-being on all levels. We are responsible for these energies and must choose wisely in order to maintain a space of harmony and positivity. Kato looked at his disciples, the sunset light reflected in their eyes as they absorbed his words thoughtfully. Remember, the monk continued in a quiet voice, that every object we bring into our lives has the potential to affect our mood, our energy, and our overall well-being. Be aware of what you accept and choose wisely. The disciples nodded, internalizing their master's words with deep respect. Each story Kato shared had added a new layer of understanding to their spiritual journey. As night fell, the monk rose from his position and showed them the way back to their cells. May these words accompany you on your journey to awareness, he said with a gentle smile. The disciples rose in turn, grateful for the teaching they had received, and slowly dispersed into the silence of the night, each with a new awareness in their hearts.